Senator McKenzie.
Thank you very much, Mr Acting Deputy President. And it grieves me, but I'm glad to actually participate in this ridiculous debate that once again the Labor Party trots out its tired lines, although I am quite excited about some of the adjectives they have chosen to throw into today's motion. But it's actually, I think, merely disguising the fact that the Labor Party, straight after the federal election, completely reset the clock on how this nation is to be configured. It actually forgot about the previous 6 years, chose to actually say that didn't count. Any responsibility borne for the mess that we're in now, we are not going to be held accountable for. It is an absolute shell, marine fig leaf, if you like, that actually is about hiding the facts behind what we are having to deal with as a government. That resetting of clock. The face of the facts are that we actually are delivering on our promises, and you don't like to hear it. You don't like to hear it. I think we've actually were elected to fulfil a most crucial of promises, and that was to repair the sea of debris, the oceans of debt and the tsunami of deficits that were actually faced by this nation thanks to the absolute incompetence. I mean, it was incompetence on a scale never before seen in this nation. We had school halls built triple cost anywhere else. Just the money that was thrown out hand over fist. And now they choose to use the fig leaf of the, financial crisis. That was not the case. It was actual press release politics of the most ridiculous scale. I just cannot believe it. But let's go to the facts. The facts were that we didn't have $50 billion in the bank. We had $200 billion of net debt when we took government 12 months ago, $667 billion worth of gross debt. But I think the most important thing when we look past over the last 6 years, it actually landed our government in the most precarious of positions which we have been battling against and are achieving against for the betterment, as Senator Mason made in his contribution, for future generations. Because we are not going to be bound by the political cycle, we're actually going to be bound by principles which will actually underpin the future competitiveness, the future of young Australians right now who can't vote. Many of them are unemployed right now, right through regional Australia, high unemployment. We are seeking to build a positive future for them, giving them options in education, in training, in trades, indeed in higher education, to ensure that they can access those opportunities so that they can contribute to increased productivity and all the positive outcomes that work will provide. But it was the fastest accrual of debt in dollar terms as a share of GDP in modern Australia. It wasn't that it was the highest, although it was by a significant amount, but man, was it quick. Like a catamaran versus a mirror. It was just absolutely phenomenal. And what we're actually interested in, what this government is interested in doing, is delivering on the very real promises we made at the last election to the Australian people that they voted for and that you have continually frustrated in this place. You continually frustrate in your pious attempts to forget the past, like deluded adolescents. You forget the past, that it is your responsibility, and therefore you have a responsibility in this place to lend your shoulder to the wheel, to help us to repair the debt and deficit that you left us so that we can, as a society, as a parliament, build a positive future for young Australians. Shallow slogans from Senator Cameron, but do we expect anything else? What we have actually done, we've also sorted out the growing regulatory burden, and it's not just on business. Higher education complained of your regulatory burden. Your old friends, the school sector, the AEU even. I think Angelo got on board and started complaining and bringing to the fore the regulatory burden that your government placed on not only business but in the environment, on higher education, on schools, right throughout our society. Your stranglehold reduced our competitiveness, reduced our productivity, our ability to make productivity gains, and indeed stifled this nation to the point of static, like a yacht with no wind. You were no help. The carbon tax, we've delivered on that promise. And help us, why aren't you thanking us with all those workers at SPC Ardmona, all the workers in the dairy industry who are so thankful that thanks to getting rid of that carbon tax, that the people that pay their wages are not having to pay tens of thousands of dollars in additional cost to pay for a carbon tax that was never going to deliver the environmental outcomes that you sought to do. And it's not just us. Chris Richardson from Deloitte Access Economics said that our budget is the only roadmap to structural fiscal repair Australia has. You don't like to hear it. You do not have a credible alternative. You are very happy to carp on the sideline when someone else tries to fix up your mess. It is absolutely disgusting. It is immature, and there is no leadership throughout the Australian Labor Party as they sit here and carp on the sideline while we fix up your mess.
Thank you, Senator McKenzie.